Yeah.
Week 1 is finally here. Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, here with the moment you've all been waiting for, our Week 1 college football predictions. Can you believe it? We have been talking about these games and hyping up these games for months, and now we are finally just a few days away from seeing these teams take the field, from seeing these games finally getting to be played out, from seeing the 2021 college football season really getting underway. There is not a better time to be alive. There's not a better time of the year, guys. College football is back, and we've got our top 5 biggest games of Week 1 right here, and we're about to give you some quick hitters, predictions, and analysis on every single one of them. But before we do that, again, guys, welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Many of you have been with us for years now. We're entering year 5 here at this channel. Many of you have been with us all season long, all preseason long, as we have predicted game-by-game records for every Power 5 team. So now it's kind of really just great to be able to break down these games individually, as we're just a few days away from seeing these teams and seeing all the games in action. It's going to be fantastic. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, and of course check out everything down in the description, guys. Again, help us help you. Week 1 is here, which means our expert picks are here. And those expert picks can only be accessed on our website, thegridironexpert.com. So like we've been stressing to you for months now, sign up for those today. Our Week 1 picks come out on Wednesday. You do not want to miss out on those. Next week, the NFL picks will be added. You do not want to miss out on those. So much extra analysis, so many opportunities to make you a little money. Make sure to sign up for those today before the season starts, before these games really get underway, because a few of these will be on our expert picks. So check out that, check out Prize Picks, check out everything down in the description below, and get on it before these games start on Saturday, and really the season beginning on Thursday. All right, pleasantries out of the way. Let's talk football. Let's talk football. Again, guys, this has the potential and the opportunity to be one of the most highly anticipated Week 1s in college football history. Not just because of the amazing slate of games, but obviously just because of everything that we went through last year. We're going to see some fantastic matchups. We're going to get to see fans in the stands, both at individual home stadiums, but also at neutral site locations. It's just going to be great. And remember, this season starts on Thursday, really Wednesday. UAB and Jacksonville State play Wednesday, but the majority of the games start Thursday, and it runs all the way through Labor Day Monday. We've got a full 4 or 5 days of college football. You couldn't ask for anything better than that. So let's start with the first game up here on the big board. Number 19, Penn State, and number 12, Wisconsin. A huge Big Ten showdown in a battle between two teams that are trying to bounce back. These are two teams that underperformed in 2020, and they are anxious to bounce back in a big way now in 2021. Penn State, they started the season off 0-5, but won their final 4 games to finish 4-5, carry a little momentum into this season. Wisconsin finished 4-3, won their final 2 games to finish above 500, but they were hit hard by COVID. After that perfect 2-0 start with dominating wins over Illinois and Michigan, they lost 3 straight games where they scored a combined 20 points. That's it. So the Badgers are hoping to find a little bit more offense in 2021. They're hoping to bounce back and show that they are Big Ten West contenders, maybe even a playoff dark horse with a very favorable schedule. You look at these two teams. Penn State got a lot of returning talent. Sean Clifford is back at quarterback. Noah Cain is back from injury at running back. Jahan Dotson is back as their top wide receiver. That's their big 3 offensively. I believe they're going to be able to light it up against many teams in 2021. The defense ranked in the top half of the Big Ten in every statistical category, and it's kind of hard to believe considering how bad Penn State's record was. But the talent was there. I believe this team truly just got demoralized off of the Indiana loss. That plus Ohio State started off 0-2. This team crumbled under the pressure. They're going to bounce back now in 2021. You look at Wisconsin. They were a team that we just mentioned. They need help offensively. They need to take a step forward offensively. And we think they can do that with Graham Mertz. Graham Mertz looked fantastic in those 2 games against Illinois and Michigan. When COVID hit him and when they hit the team, he fell apart. I do believe that he's going to be a lot better than what we saw in 2020 when that was just his first year as starter for the Badgers. Outside of the offense, though, something that Wisconsin is not normally known for, it's their defense that, of course, carries this team. 8 starters back on that side of the ball, a unit that ranked top 10 nationally in scoring, rushing, and total defense. And you can expect that to be the same in 2021. Paul Chryst defense will be one of the best in the country again in 2021. And to me, whenever you're playing Wisconsin, especially a team that likes to bully you up front with their offensive line and obviously likes to bully you up front with their defensive line, can you beat them in the trenches? Can you find a way to beat the Badgers in the trenches? And for Penn State, we're saying no. Penn State has just one returning starter on that defensive line. Yes, we know they went out, utilized the transfer portal to the best of their abilities, but they're still a little shaky on the defensive end, defensive edges. That kind of concerns me going up against a stout Wisconsin offensive line. If they're unable to get pressure on Graham Mertz, if they're unable to shut down an always dominant Wisconsin run game, Penn State could be in for a world of hurt on Saturday afternoon. I don't think this is a blowout by any means. But I believe Wisconsin owns the battle in the trenches. I believe they own the line of scrimmage. I believe they own the defensive edge, and they own home field advantage. And that's going to play such a huge role, not just in week 1, but over the course of the entire season for so many teams. The Badgers, the 12th ranked team in the country, get a big win over Penn State in a game that should be a fantastic way, really, to kick off the Big Ten Saturday season. We go down to Atlanta next. Number 1, Alabama. Number 14, Miami. As you'll see, we don't have a projected winner up here yet. We're going to do something a little different this year. For our games of the week, we'll put them up here on the big board. We're not going to predict them. You have to wait for our game of the week video to get that analysis, to get that prediction, our official prediction of who's going to win that game. We'll talk about the game, but we're not going to share you our winner. So our 2 games of the week this week, Alabama, Miami, and of course, Georgia, Clemson. We're not predicting a winner for those games today. We will later in the week. Georgia, Clemson tomorrow. Alabama, Miami the next day. So stay tuned for that if you want to find out who we have winning those games. But this game between the Crimson Tide and the Hurricanes down in Atlanta has the makings for a good one. The defending national champions in the Crimson Tide and a surging Miami team that's going to rely so heavily on the health of D'Eriq King, who tore his ACL in that bowl game against Oklahoma State. D'Eriq King's health is vital. Will he be 100% for this Alabama game? We expect him to play, obviously, but if he's not 100%, Miami doesn't stand a chance. If he is 100%, if he can return to form from that gruesome injury, the Hurricanes do stand a chance. Alabama, of course, losing so much talent from last year, losing Mac Jones and Najee Harris and Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, all that coming on the offensive side of the ball. It's the defensive side of the ball that is the strength for Alabama. 8 starters back for Nick Saban's defense. Miami's got to find a way to exploit that defense to hang in this game. And when you look at a few numbers, and again, we'll have extra analysis on this later on in the week, but one key stat I'm looking at here is the fact that Alabama is 10-0 all-time under Nick Saban in neutral site openers. 10-0 all-time under Nick Saban in neutral site openers. 6 of those 10 wins have come against ranked opponents, and all 10 of those wins have come by an average of 26.7 points per game. The million-dollar question is, can Miami break that streak? Can they end Alabama's streak? And if they can't, can they at least keep it close? Or will Alabama, again, run away with another dominant neutral site victory and again show why they're the number 1 team in the country? And again, more analysis on this game coming on Wednesday with a projected winner. Another Big Ten matchup, number 17 Indiana at number 18 Iowa. We have the 2021 surprise team in the Big Ten in Indiana. We have one of the hottest teams in the Big Ten in Iowa. Both teams finished 6-2. Indiana surprised a lot of people with that mark. 6-2 record, falling to Ole Miss in their bowl game. The only other loss coming by 7 to Ohio State. Iowa, on the other hand, started 0-2, but won their final 6 games. So they carry a lot of momentum, and it really felt like this Iowa team got better and better with each week, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But before we talk about Iowa, let's talk about Indiana. We'll talk about the Hoosiers and the road team first. When you look at Indiana, tons of talent back for them. Star quarterback Michael Penix returns. If, of course, he can stay healthy. He suffered a season-ending injury last year. But if he is back, he's going to be connecting nonstop with Ty Freifogel, one of the best wide receivers in the Big Ten. 9 starters are back on the defensive side of the ball for Indiana, but their star defensive coordinator, Kane Womack, has left and gone to South Alabama to take the head coaching job there. Can't help but wonder if that's going to play a major role for the Hoosiers. New defensive coordinator, a lot of talent, tough opponent in Iowa. when you look at the Hawkeyes and what Kirk Ferentz squad is doing, I really felt that this team began to find their groove offensively as the season went on. And that was obviously indicative of their 6-game winning streak. That offense continued to click. Defense was great, but give credit to Spencer Petras at quarterback. Give credit to Tyler Goodson at running back for putting up the points. They had the second-ranked scoring offense in the Big Ten last year. That doesn't just happen. That's not just a fluke. That means you have a pretty decent offense. Iowa does have major questions at the wide receiver position, so how quickly Petras builds chemistry, if he has it at all, with his new, relatively new set of pass catchers, it's going to be key here. But the number I'm looking at here, more than anything, is the fact that we know that Tyler Goodson is probably going to be the workhorse for Iowa. We know that Tyler Goodson and Iowa want to run the ball. Petras is the second option. A lot of teams in the Big Ten want to ground and pound, beat you up front in the trenches. So Tyler Goodson, can he exploit this Indiana rushing defense? Can he exploit an Indiana rushing defense that was one of the best in the conference last year? On top of that, Iowa's run defense was one of the best in the nation last year. They only allowed 107.6 rushing yards per game. That was 10th nationally. Iowa's defense overall was 8th nationally. Indiana did not have a rushing offense at all. The Hoosiers averaged just 108.6 rushing yards per game. So their run game was practically non-existent. Well, you're definitely not going to see Indiana's run game take off now against Iowa and their defense at Kinnick Stadium with 7 returning starters on that side of the ball. So what this tells me is Indiana is coming into this game very one-dimensional. Iowa knows Indiana's not going to be able to run on them. They're not going to let Indiana run on them. And even if they said, hey, we're just not going to defend the run, I don't think the Hoosiers could do it. So Iowa and the Hawkeyes, they focus solely on Michael Penix. They focus solely on stopping the pass. And the Hawkeyes have a brilliant and experienced secondary here. You can make a case, guys, that Iowa owns the defensive edge. They obviously own the home field advantage, and a big one at that. Kinnick Stadium, one of the most difficult places to play in the entire country. And I believe the Hawkeyes get the job done in week 1. A mini upset, if you want to call it that. Number 17 versus number 18. But the Hawkeyes take down Indiana in week 1 at Kinnick Stadium. Again, behind the strength of their defense and behind the strength of that home crowd, guys. Kinnick Stadium is going to be popping on Saturday afternoon. We got a very intriguing matchup in Austin. Number 23, Louisiana, and number 21, Texas. The beginning of the Steve Sarkisian era with the Longhorns. And guys, this is a sneaky good matchup here. You know, most of the time you would write off a group of 5 team against Texas. You'd write off a group of 5 team against any Power 5 team. And we all know you can't do that. The Raging Cajuns are ranked for a reason. They didn't just give Louisiana the number 23 spot for the heck of it. This team is good. They are extremely well coached under Billy Napier. They went 10-1 last year. They returned 20 starters from last year. This is a team that last year in their season opener went on the road to Ames and beat Iowa State. An Iowa State team that made the Big 12 championship and won the Fiesta Bowl, beat them by 17 points on their home turf. Last year they went on the road to a good Big 12 team, beat them by 17 on the road. They're doing the same thing now against Texas. We just don't expect the same result. We do believe Texas gets the job done over the Raging Cajuns. A major reason Louisiana beat Iowa State last year was special teams. Big-time special teams touchdown. What was it, a punt return for a touchdown and a kickoff return for a touchdown? 14 points from special teams, not too bad. Of course it's going to help you out. I don't expect that to happen again for the Raging Cajuns. And I look at Texas. I know they're going to go through some growing pains with Steve Sarkisian, a guy who just named his starting quarterback a few days ago in Hudson Card. Not Casey Thompson, but Hudson Card, the very highly touted 5-star quarterback recruit. Played a little bit sparingly last year, but a dual-threat quarterback who will fit his offensive style perfectly. Hudson Card is now the new starting quarterback for the Longhorns. He's paired with Bijan Robinson, one of the best running backs in the country, a guy who had 703 yards and 4 touchdowns last year. A running back that's now going up against the Louisiana rushing defense that gave up 184.7 rushing yards per game. Not very promising. Yes, the Raging Cajuns had the 6th ranked passing defense in the country, allowing just a little over 170 passing yards per game. That's not going to matter for Texas. They're not going to care about that if Bijan Robinson is hammering them and if Hudson Card is running all over them as well. Louisiana has to account for an RPO-style offense. They have to account for not just one of the best running backs in the nation, but a dual-threat quarterback who can extend plays and make big plays on the ground by himself. Louisiana certainly has the talent to keep this game close. My million-dollar question is, how do the Raging Cajuns attack a Texas defense under Pete Kwiatkowski that we expect to see major improvement from, one that has a pretty strong secondary for the most part, and obviously a Louisiana offense that lost Eli Mitchell and Trey Regis, their top 2 running backs. How do they attack Texas offensively? That's a million-dollar question, and can they attack Texas offensively? I expect this game to be close. The Raging Cajuns are only an 8-point underdogs. The guys in Vegas think this game is close as well. Do not be surprised at all if Louisiana pulls off this upset. Do not be surprised at all. We've seen Texas struggle, especially under Tom Herman in season openers. I think Steve Sarkisian breaks that trend. I think Texas beats Louisiana in a close game, one of the most underrated matchups of Week 1, but Texas does get the job done. And then finally, guys, on our top 5 big board, who else would it be? Number 5, Georgia. Number 3, Clemson in Charlotte. The game of the year. Not just the best game of Week 1, but potentially the best game of the year. This is the most highly anticipated game of the week. It's been the most highly anticipated game of the year. Ever since 2020 ended, the 2020 season, all attention shifted to this game right here. A game that could be the first of 2 meetings between the Bulldogs and the Tigers, both absolutely college football playoff contenders in 2021. And again, this is our game of the week. So tomorrow we are going to have more in-depth analysis for Georgia and Clemson, and we're going to share with you who we believe wins this game in Charlotte, whether it is the Bulldogs or the Tigers. But you look at a couple storylines here. It's JT Daniels for Georgia versus DJ Uiagalelei for Clemson. 2 great quarterbacks going at it. Which one can exploit the other team's defense most? Again, defense. Kirby Smart, one of the best defensive minds in the game, has his Georgia defense going up against Clemson's defense led by Brent Venables, one of the best defensive minds in the game, and a Clemson defense that returns 10 starters on that side of the ball. Both teams are loaded with talent. Both teams are loaded with speed. Both teams are so extremely well coached, and that's why this game, a battle between top 5 teams to kick off the year, is going to be so exciting. That's why it's going to be so exciting. Clemson looking to bounce back from their heartbreaking loss to Ohio State, devastating blowout loss to Ohio State in the playoff last year. Georgia looking to finally get over the hump, get back to the college football playoff. Looking to win their first national championship since 1980. Again, we're a long ways from both of those. We're a long way from the playoff. We're a long way from national title. But this is going to help whoever wins this game is going to help their case to make the playoff. It's going to help their case to make the Natty just that much stronger. It's going to help them out that much more. In this game, again, more analysis coming on that tomorrow. But Clemson, Georgia, it's going to be a barn burner. And we're in for an epic showdown in Charlotte. So, guys, there are our top 5 games. Again, the list could go on and on here. There are so many other games. We talked about the season starting on Thursday. We've got Boise State at Central Florida, UCF. We've got number 4 Ohio State taking on Minnesota. Potential trap game for the Buckeyes. Number 16 LSU taking on a UCLA team who looked dang good in their Week 0 win against Hawaii. Number 9 Notre Dame at Florida State on Sunday. Louisville, Ole Miss in Atlanta on Monday. Those are games that we don't even have up here, but those are games that we will address in our Week 1 recap that will, of course, come out on Tuesday once all the games have concluded. So we have so much more coverage coming your way, so many more games to talk about, but these are the 5 biggest ones. If you don't have time to watch many games on Saturday this weekend, you need to make sure you tune in to these 5 right here. All ranked versus ranked matchups, all have major national or conference implications, and it's going to be one heck of a way to kick off this 2021 college football season. We could not be happier. We could not be more excited. We know you guys feel the exact same way. And of course, stay tuned with us right here at the Gridiron Expert for nonstop coverage this week, over the weekend, and obviously all season long for college football, guys. This is your home, and we're going to do everything we can to make this the best season for you guys. So again, as always, make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Help us out, guys. Continue to help us build our channel, continue to help build our business and grow and share our knowledge and our analysis and just have some fun with as many people as possible. So make sure to do that. Check out everything down in the description below. Again, sign up for our expert picks. Those come out on Wednesday for Week 1. Our picks will come out every Wednesday for college and NFL all year long. Sign up for those today before it starts so you don't miss out on any of that analysis. Again, right down there in the description. Help us help you. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Let's get ready for some football, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.